Good morning, students. Today, again, I would like to welcome and invite you to this session for 8th English 2 class. Today, in continuation of the previous class, let us again revise and go ahead with this topic. And before that, let's have Brahmanath. Therefore, please sit Siddha with Dhyana Mudra and have Brahmanath. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Relax. Okay? I would like to invite all my dear students to this class again. Today, we are continuing from the previous class. Our topic is relative pronoun. And in the last class, we understood what are those relative pronouns are and how they are functioning as the relatives as well as pronouns. To recap the previous class, let me write something which will make you recall the previous class. Okay? Last class, we understood that how these relative pronouns are functioning as a subject, object and possessives. And we know that when we talk about subjects or persons, we use who as a subject, whom as an object and whose is possessive. Similarly, when we talk about the things or animals, we use which or that as a subject, which or that as an object, and whose or of which is possessives. Okay, for that we did discuss several examples from your exercise 30. And today we will understand how these who and whom are used. First we will discuss how who is used as a subject, and for subject when we are talking about the persons. Let me write an example from where we can better understand. Here you see, topic today is combining sentences by the use of relative pronouns. So how we can combine two sentences using the relative pronouns here. You see how we can combine using them, using the relative pronouns. But when we combine two sentences, as far as we are talking about the use of who for persons, let us have an idea over them, how we can combine by using who and combine two sentences. But when we are combining two sentences, we use who in place of a subject, you know. But when we are combining two sentences, taking the subject into account, we have two ways to combine them. There you can find type 1 and type 2. Let's discuss now first the type 1 type of combination using who. You see, where we will replace who with the subject. Okay, so this is the discussion. Now you can see. Here I have written, you see, the first type is number 1. I know a man. Here man is the noun. The man has been to Iceland. I know the man. Here is the man. The man has been to Iceland. So here you see, here the man is used as a subject. So due to it is a person, we can use who for this. Yes or no? How can we combine this? You see, we will combine here in the type 1, we will take the second sentence and add with the first sentence. Type 2 is, we can take the first sentence and combine with the second sentence. That we will discuss later on after understanding this. You see, I know a man. The man has been to Iceland. What we will write? You will write, I know the man. I know a man. That means here first sentence, man. Here the man and the man is combining the same common. So in place of this man, the man, we can use who has been to Iceland. I know a man who has been to Iceland. Who has been to Iceland. Understand? So here, what we did, we used here in place of this noun who and added over here with the past sentence. Yes or no? That means we took the second sentence and added with the past sentence using the relative pronoun who. Understand? So now here you see we have a second example like such. What is that? Here is the doctor. Here is the doctor. The doctor is here. Here is the doctor. The doctor cured me of malaria. Who cured me? Doctor cured me. Who is that doctor? So here the doctor is used as a subject. So here in place of this doctor, we can use who? Because according to the type 1, we are taking the second sentence and adding with the past sentence using a relative pronoun. Though it is a person, we can use who. Again, because it is used as a subject. So what should be the combination? Here is the doctor. Here is the doctor. Here is the doctor. Who? We can use who. Who cured me of malaria. Understood? So in the past type, we are taking the second sentence and using a relative pronoun and add with the past sentence using the relative pronoun. This is the type 1. Okay? So what? I know a man who has been to Iceland. Here is the doctor. Here is the doctor who cured me of malaria. You understood? In type 1, mostly we have used a relative pronoun and combined the past sentence with this the second sentence with the past sentence. We are taking the second sentence and add with the past sentence using a relative pronoun. This is what the first type. The second type is nothing more. It is just the alternate. That means in the second type, we will take the first sentence and add with the second sentence using a relative pronoun. That is only the difference. That we will discuss right now. Let me write some examples for that. Okay. Now did you understand this? We are adding the second sentence with the first sentence using a relative pronoun. This is the difference. We are taking the second sentence and adding with the first sentence using a relative pronoun is only the type 1. Let's discuss with the type 2. Okay? Now, let's understand how we combine two sentences using who as persons and for as a relative pronoun of type 2. Previously we understood type 1. Where we took the second sentence and added with the first sentence using a relative pronoun. Now we will take the first sentence and add with the second sentence using a relative pronoun. That's all. Okay, let's understand. Here, the thief stole the watch. Who stole the watch? Thief stole the watch. In the second sentence, the thief was punished. Who was punished? Thief was punished. Why the thief was punished? Because he stole the watch. So here, what we will do, in place of this thief, we can use who? And we will write over here. What we will write? The first write the second sentence. The thief who stole the watch. The thief who stole the watch was punished. The thief who stole the watch. The thief, particularly we are talking about the thief. There are several thieves. The thief who stole the watch was punished. Right now you understood? The first, so we took the first sentence and added with the second sentence using this relative pronoun in place of that. So here the thief who stole the watch, that means the first sentence we took and added with the second sentence using the relative pronoun. This is type 2. Okay, so here is another example. You see the similar. He does his best. Who does? He does his best. He is a person. Okay, so he should be praised. Who should be praised? Who has done his best or who does the best? He should be praised. Yes or no? So here he is a person. In place of that we can use who, and we will add this sentence over here after he. So what should be the answer? He who does the best. He who does the best. He who does the best should be praised. So you understood? In the type 2, difference is nothing. Only in type 1, we have used a relative pronoun and took the second sentence and added with the first sentence. Only. But when we are talking about type 2, we took the first sentence and added with the second sentence using a relative pronoun. That's the difference. There is no other difference. So you can better understand, and we will encounter with several such statements in our exercise where we have to alternate like type 1 and type 2. When you continue to do this, you will better understand and will be confident. Understand? So let's proceed further more. Okay? Here you see, previously we discussed that how we are replacing a relative pronoun who for persons as a subject. Now we will understand how we are using relative pronouns for persons as an object. Okay, so here previously I have told you that for when a person is an object, we use whom for that. But whom is used for persons as an object, as a relative pronoun in a very formal English. But in informal English and as far as spoken English is concerned, we don't use who. We don't use whom. We use who in place of whom, even if it is used as an object. But the thing is that if the relative pronoun or the object has a preposition before it, then we can use whom for that. or we can use who and the preposition at the end of the sentences. That example we are going to discuss right now. Please have concentrations on this. Okay, now let me tell you and write the answer over here. You see who and whom in place of the object. Here you see in the example we have written two sentences. The man is deaf. Who is deaf? The man is deaf. Next, you spoke to the man. You spoke to whom? To that man. So this man, the man, both are common. But in the second sentence, we found the man is used as an object. Yes or no? And before this object, you find here is a preposition. So how we can write this? We can write the answer like this. To combine this, the man, here is a preposition. As I have told you, if there is a preposition before the pronoun, before the subject, then we can use whom and we can keep the preposition before that. So the man to whom, for this we have used whom, to whom, the man to whom you spoke, to whom you spoke. The man to whom you spoke is deaf. Is deaf. The man to whom you spoke is deaf. Here we have used whom. As I have told you, we can use who in place of this. But I have also told you that if there is a preposition before the object, then we can use to whom or preposition with whom. Suppose it is formally in formal English we are using this, but in place of this whom we can also use who, but these prepositions will be taken to the next place. That means towards the end of this subject. Now see, the man who you spoke to, who to we have taken after this spoke. The man who you spoke to is deaf. Okay, so if there is a preposition, we can use to plus whom. If we want to use who, then the preposition should be taken after the object. Okay, so here after this spoke, the man to whom you spoke is deaf. The man who you spoke to is deaf. You understood? Don't be confused. Here, if the preposition is used before this object, we can use to whom. But in accordance to the spoken English, in accordance to the informal English, for normal conversation, we need to use who. But this to, the preposition, should be taken after this. Okay? Not before this relative pronoun. Okay, so now understand here another. The boy bowls very well. Who bowls very well? The boy bowls very well. Bowling means bowls very well. So here the boy bowls very well. You see him there. Whom do you see? Him. Him means the boy. Who is him? The boy. Here him is used as an object. So, but here you see after this him, after this object, there is no preposition. So here we can easily use who as well as whom. If we use whom, it will be formal English. If we use who, it will be informal English or the English we are using to have interactions in our day-to-day life. That means in spoken English. You see, the boy, we can use who or whom. You see that the boy whom you see there bowls very well. So here you see, we can either use who or whom. But though the constraint is the rule is that we can use whom if there is a preposition before it. But here there is no preposition. We can use either. But we can, for spoken English, what we do? We don't use this whom, we use who. Because whom is used for formal English, and for spoken English and for non-formal English, we use who. So in place of whom, we used who. So the boy whom you see there bowls very well. The boy whom you see there bowls very well. That means we took the second sentence and used a relative pronoun and added with the first sentence. The type 1 and 2 we did understand previously. Now you got it? Okay? So let's have some other examples to understand this. One or two examples, and in next class we will discuss the complete exercise. Okay? Let me write some such examples where we can combine the sentences using relative pronouns. Okay? Here I have given you some examples, some statements which we will combine using relative pronouns. Let's understand about them from these examples. You see, in the first sentence, I met a boy. The boy is a person. Similarly, the boy was very courageous. Who is very courageous? The boy was very courageous. How can we combine this? We can combine I met the boy. Here the boy means who was very courageous. I met the boy who was very courageous. We have added over here. The second sentence we took and added with the first sentence using a relative pronoun who, because it is used as a subject. Okay? Similarly, the dog beat the burglar. Whom did the dog bite? The dog beat the burglar. The burglar had broken into the house. Who had broken into the house? The burglar. The dog beat the burglar. That means the answer. The dog beat the burglar. Burglar means thief. Who trespasses into the house and steals our things from our house. They are burglars. So the dog beat the burglar. That means here the burglar means who had broken into the house. The dog beat the burglar who had broken into the house. Whom did the dog bite? The burglar who had broken into the house. To that particular burglar, the dog bit. Okay, so now from both the sentences we understood the second sentence is added with the first sentence or combined with the first sentence using a relative pronoun with them. Okay, so here the girls have arrived. Who have arrived? girls, a plural subject. Next is I was speaking of them. Here them means what? Who are them? Them means the girls. Here is used as an object. The same thing is used as an object. How can we write this? Because here the object you see, what we will write there? The girls of whom, because here is a preposition you see, of whom, because preposition is used, therefore we have used whom. Okay, the girls of whom I was speaking, the girls of whom I was speaking have arrived. The girls of whom I was speaking have arrived. Understand? So here we have used of whom. Because of is used before this relative pronoun, therefore we have used whom. But we can use who over here as well. How can we write it? Instead of over here, we can write who. The girls who I was speaking of. The girls who I was speaking of. We did not keep the preposition before this relative pronoun. We have taken that after the verb. The girls who I was speaking of have arrived. Understand? So we can use whom if there is a preposition before it, but normally we don't use whom. Therefore, what we do? We took the preposition after this, not before this whom. So we could write over here who. You understood? So today we understood that how these relative pronouns who and whom are used in place of subjects as well as objects, and how we don't use whom normally, but we can use whom if there is a preposition before it while combining both the sentences. We understood this. And in next class, we will discuss the exercise 14 with all its statements, and we will understand how can we combine them. And today, only this much. Next class, we will discuss more things about them, and particularly we will discuss the exercise to understand the use of who and whom as relative pronouns with them, and we will have a clear understanding and will have more confidence about them. For today, only this much.